Well, there we have it, guys. England are the third team through to the semi-finals. Fiji, unfortunately, not managing to finish out the big comeback at the end. As a Wales supporter, this one had a lot of shades of the Wales-Fiji game, and I was thinking, oh man, can Fiji do it the second time round and mount that massive comeback? But congratulations to England on taking this one 30 points to 24. The game's just finished on my end, so we're going to run over some of the full-time thoughts, bit of a reaction, go over some of the key highlights. I am feeling a little bit under the weather today, so if you're thinking like, man, this Mad Dragon doesn't seem to be quite as excitable as yesterday. I mean, we probably had too much excitement yesterday, and it's probably come back to my review, but this one might be a little bit of a shorter one as it might be for the South Africa-France game. But if you can take some of the tackles that were going on in this game and carry on playing rugby, I can sit down and make a video, right? It's probably fine. What an awesome game, though. Just physicality. Yesterday in the Ireland-New Zealand game, we got to see, just clinical rugby, both teams just avoiding penalties, and it was just exquisite rugby to watch. This one was just two teams smashing the hell out of each other, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. If you're feeling a bit of cold, a bit under the weather, man, watching two teams just nail each other is absolutely awesome. An 86-minute thriller. This one went on a little past that 80 minutes marker, and man, was it getting exciting towards the end. Starting out then in the first half, the opening 10 minutes, based on that physicality, just stayed in the middle of the pitch, which I really enjoyed. Just both teams taking it in turns, having big charges. The breakdown battle today was awesome to watch. Both teams just committing heavily to that breakdown. Some of the battles going on between Ben Earl and Mata, just fighting over the ball to get the jackal or to win the turnover was absolutely fantastic. But it was England who got us off on the scoreboard nice and early in the 11th minute. Owen Farrell getting a penalty over, and the first try of the game coming in from Manu Tuilagi. The first try for him in an England jersey in 2 years. Charging up the blind side, getting a little spin around Harbosi on the wing to go over for his try. The kick was missed by Owen Farrell. Kicking today for both sides, maybe not quite what they wanted, but I would say England came away the slightly better in terms of the kicking game today. Frank Lamani got Fiji underway with their penalty in the 20th minute. This one, oh boy, this was a potential close call. This was a no-arms tackle by Tom Curry, straight at the knees of Tuisova. I thought it was a little bit lucky to not get away with having a card in that, to be honest. We've seen cards given for very similar tackles, just no arms, no wrapping, just, chopping down at someone's knees. Thought he maybe got a little bit lucky with that one, but Lamani slotting that one through, taking them over to get their 3 points. The first yellow card of the game that did come, Harbosi out on that right-hand wing. Now, this one was, again, this will probably be a bit of a controversial one. Head-on-head contact with Marcus Smith. I've given up trying to guess now whether it's going to be red cards, yellow cards, or no fouls, as we've seen in some of the other games. This one for me was sort of leaning, like, I was very worried this was going to be a red card. Harbosi cutting across, Marcus Smith taking a little bit of a step inside. It's direct head-on-head. Marcus Smith's a little bit down, but I was like, oh man, this looks pretty upright. Went off for the bunker review, stayed as a yellow. I don't even know anymore if these are the right decisions or not. I'm glad it stayed as a yellow, though, from a neutral standpoint, because I think it allowed the game to carry on. I think up until then, Harbosi was having a good game and had a good game all the way till he went off. I don't think it was malicious. I think he got called out by the step. So taken as a yellow card, I was perfectly happy with, and I think it allowed the game to play on. With that yellow card down a man, Joe Marchant made the most of it, going over for his try. Probably the best attack from England in that opening half. A little bit unstructured, but felt like organised chaos. It's like everyone sort of knew what they wanted to do. It wasn't particularly clean or neat or tidy, but every player knew where every single other player was. Shipping it out to the left-hand side, Joe Marchant cutting back in against the grain, managing to ride over a tackle to score his try. Owen Farrell converting that one over, taking England out to that 15 points to 3 lead. But Vladimir Mata said, no, well, we'll come back and have one as well. Only 5 minutes later, getting over for his try. Probably Fiji's best attack of the half as well. And Fiji's still down to 14 men at this point, but just that physical game that Fiji bring, and they're so good at it when they've landed it. I feel like in the Georgia and Portugal games, we didn't really get to see that come from Fiji. We've seen it in some of the other games, and this one was another one today. Riding those tackles, getting the hands beyond the tackle, and getting a bit of an offload, a bit sort of sevensy style. I really like it, and Fiji is so good at it. We saw a pass go between the legs out to Mata, a little show and go, cutting inside. Good work by the number 8, converted over by Frank Lamani. But then one of the sort of things going on throughout this entire game, Fiji giving away penalties, and Owen Farrell being able to slot through a good majority of them today, took them in at halftime, 21 points to 10, just going through the boot of Owen Farrell. And it was one of the big issues for Fiji, giving away penalties. I think every time it went into the Fijian 22. Someone gave away a penalty, and it's a real harsh, one for Fiji. That's something they've struggled with over the course of this tournament. Handling errors has been one, and giving away unnecessary penalties has been another that I've sort of been harking on about. The handling looked a little bit better from Fiji today, so I think that's a big improvement for them. But every time they were getting into that 22, someone just wanted to slow down that England ball a little bit, not let them recycle quite as quick. But it's just a bit too obvious to the referees, and those penalties sort of came back to bite them a little bit. So England went in 21 points to 10 at half time. It took us a good while to get back on the scoreboard, though. Owen Farrell took nearly 15 minutes before we get back on the scoreboard with his penalty in the 54th minute. But you felt a bit of a momentum shift in this game. The breakdown situation for England was sort of gradually getting better. The amount of turnovers in those breakdowns was really beginning to push Fiji quite a lot. And you could see just big jacklers getting over the ball, ripping the ball out. Toje stole a couple today. Ben Earl was getting in there. Tom Curry was getting in there, just ripping the ball. The way they dealt with the Fijian sort of setup as well was really nice. Something I sort of want to talk about, Itoje in this game, sacking mauls for absolute fun. And I really hope more teams pay attention to what was going on in this game, because Itoje was landing them absolutely brilliantly. As soon as that player came down from that line out, grabbed him around the waist and just chucked him over and just threw him on the ground, completely shut down the maul. And he just removed a huge power advantage for Fiji in that. Slow down the ball. You've got to wait for the maul to sort of set up and let everyone get back out of it and recycle the ball. Allowed that English defence line to set up. And I think more people need to take a bit of a look at that English defence and how they were dealing with that line out, because I think it was really good. And I'm not a massive fan of the driving mauls in rugby. I don't like seeing teams just run over constantly for driving mauls. So if more teams can implement that and maybe take out a few more mauls, I personally would quite enjoy it. But Fiji, though, mounting that comeback, 64 minutes through to 70 minutes, just getting back on the horse and just feeling like they had the energy behind them. Maybe felt that game slipping away from 2 tries, one coming in from Ravai and the other one coming in from Botitu. Just superb Fijian tries, what you want to be seeing. Fiji using the physicality, Ravai going over, beating 2 defenders, 2 solid England defenders to get over his try. Botitu felt like a very sort of Fijian style, try with the tackle, right in the tackle, get the hands out, the offload, and Botitu just absolutely away for a wonderful try. And it's what you want to see from Fiji. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more. They mounted that comeback. They got back to that 24 points to all. But after that, it just sort of dwindled again. A lot of the Fijian attack felt like it was narrowing up. There was a few times in this game where it felt like the entire Fijian team was 10 metres away from each other. The England defensive line is all the way across the pitch. There were lads out on the wing just stood with their hands on their hips, we don't even need to get involved. It's not testing England. It's not, going to be pressurising their defence. The lads very close to the ruck are working very hard, and we felt that line speed slow down a bit from England as this game went on. But you've got to be testing the wide channels. I think that's where Fiji probably made the most attacks in this game, but narrowing up a little bit too much. And then sort of one of the stories of the game, England just constantly getting those kicks. We saw a drop goal by Owen Farrell, which I think was, good game management. You're coming in as a captain, a lot of pressure on him. You're equal on the scoreboard. Just take a 3. You've ended the 22, take another 3 and keep that scoreboard ticking. And then a final penalty coming in from them in the 78th minute after an enormous break by Ben Earl, charging off a bit of a loose offload. Fiji trying to force it a little bit too much. Ben Earl charging all the way up, and a penalty given to them as well. So Owen Farrell sealed it out at 30 points to 24. Fiji, though, man, you can never count this team out. They've been one of the most exciting teams at the World Cup. They may not be carrying on through the World Cup, but their fashion statement as well has won this World Cup for me. I absolutely loved their alternate jersey. I was glad they played in that one today. But it just didn't stop as well. We had a Fijian scrum in that 79th minute. We reset that like 3 times. Fiji trying to go on the attack. England, I don't know, just found that extra gear as well. Defensive line looked solid. The speed suddenly came back. They regained some stamina to hold that defensive line. Fiji going backwards. There was a purposeful knock-on by Owen Farrell. And I a little bit maybe lucky to not get a card himself as well. The referee did explain it and said he didn't feel like the pass was going to get out to the winger, and therefore it doesn't fall under the yellow card threshold for a purposeful knockdown. A little bit outside my rules knowledge. We've seen many a purposeful knockdown be a yellow card. We saw one yesterday in the Ireland New Zealand game. So not given a penalty. Not a great kick by Fiji to get up. They mounted that attack once again, but Courtney Laws, who had a superb game all day, getting back over again for a jackal penalty and just seal it out. But Naya Kalevu was outraged in this game, man. He was so upset to not be getting there. Bit of heartbreak for Fiji as well. We're talking a little bit about Tuisova losing his son, Matavesi as well, losing his father. I didn't know about that when we were doing the preview videos. I'm not sure if that was even out by the time the preview videos were going on. But sticking with this Fijian team, not going home and wanting to seal out this game for Fiji, maybe get themselves into a semi-final. But I think they did the Fijian team proud. I think they played their absolute socks off. This is a much better performance from Fiji compared to what we saw against Georgia and Portugal. It's much more in line with what we got to see in that opening game versus Wales. From an England standpoint, then, a lot more positives to take away. Just taking those 3 points, like we saw in that Argentina game. England know how to win games. It's knockout rugby. That's what you need to do. Just take 3 every time you're in the 22. Keep that scoreboard ticking over. And Owen Farrell doing pretty good from the kicking today. The kicking still a bit off. They missed a couple. There was a couple of kicks missed as well by Fiji in this game. It's a bit harsh for them because they lost Caleb Muntz just before they went into the tournament. They had 2 today come off the posts. It might have been a third one missed. I was trying to keep track. I have a whole book full of notes from that game. Like I said, I'm not feeling super up for keeping track of everything, but it was definitely 2 that got missed. They lost by 6 points. If those kicks go over, maybe you draw this game, maybe you're going more into extra time or something in this game. But England missed a few as well. So, had everyone got their kicks, England still would have come away with a win in this one, though. But a lot of positives for England to take away from this one. Defence looking much better. Overall performance from England looked better. Ben Earl leading from the front. Courtney Laws having a good game as well. Marcus Smith's face looked like he'd been an absolute battle by the end of that game. I'm astonished that lad was still on the field. But a much better performance from England. And they'll be going on to the semi-finals to play either France or South Africa. The last game coming up today for the quarterfinals. If you enjoyed this one today, guys, make sure to leave it a like. Make sure you drop your comments on the game down in the comments section, what you thought of it, because it's always fun to read through what other people have to say. And of course, I'll be trying my best to do the one for France versus South Africa at the end of the day as well. I hope you've all enjoyed this one today, guys. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.